This morning on BRN, AI is a game changer for students with disabilities. Joining me now to discuss this is Dr. Jinjun Xiong and Venu Govindaraju of the University of Buffalo. Doctors, great to see you. Thanks for joining us on the program this morning.
Happy to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's great to have you both. And I think, as I explained previously to you and the audience know this, we have covered artificial intelligence from so many different angles. And I found the story, Venu, amazing in that you and Jinjun are leveraging AI to help individuals with disabilities. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Sure thing, Jeff. And it is indeed a project of great value to society. Artificial intelligence has been around as a discipline for decades now. And, its actual definition might have changed over the years. But end of the day, it is about doing tasks that humans usually do. And it involves some intelligence. And so now the application landscape is almost limitless on what AI can do for you. So as AI is evolving, people are looking at different applications, and Jinjun and I are fortunate to have this particular project because it is greatly satisfying for us to know that we can bring in our knowledge and technology and expertise to make a difference in people's lives. So we truly live up to AI for social good, and not being apprehensive about what wrong things AI can be used for.
Yeah.
Here we have a clear-cut case of helping children who have some kind of speech disability or language, and language is a little broader. So even writing, so people communicate by writing, and people communicate by speaking. So we cover both in children to make sure that whatever their disability is early on in life can be overcome by the assistance of artificial intelligence tools. So that's what interests us right now.
Yeah, and Jinjun, again, there are a lot of negative stories about artificial intelligence. It's going to take your job away, but you and Venu and the team have really been able to train the AI to help those with speech disabilities. How did you go about doing that? I mean, what data do you use in order to be able to teach the artificial intelligence?
Well, that's a great question. So I want to address some of the issues that you mentioned, right? The AI, yeah, the AI has some negative consequences too, but take away people's job. That's the kind of one of the rates. But in fact, right here, we are using AI to help to actually people to do the job better. In particular, in this case, right, we are helping the speech language pathologist to do their job better in terms of screening and in terms of intervention. So in order to train the AI model, of course, we need a lot of the data, but unfortunately, a lot of the data is existing already in the internet, right? So that's, I mean, like, for example, large language model has been trained by a lot of the text already existing on the internet. So what we need to do is to take the models and how do we fine tune the models, or how do we customize the models for the use cases that we have. And of course, we still need to have some of the data, but we are still advancing the AI technologies to see if we are able to get a better models with less data, or sometimes maybe without enough data. So technology is still evolving, and we'll continue to advance the frontiers and to see how can we make sure we can develop the right technology, right? If we are using the data, and how do we respect the privacy of the data? If we are not using data, can we still maintain the accuracy and accomplish the task we need to do? So there are many facets of things we need to do.
Yeah, so Jeff, if I may just add, to the first part of your question, which I find very intriguing, is, are AI technologies taking away jobs? I mean, that was the question. And Jinjun, rightly pointed out that it's all about improving efficiency. So one way to look at this in the context of our project is the speech language pathologist, who's the expert who's supposed to help our children in schools, early on. if we can make them more efficient with artificial intelligence, so here is what is going to happen, that instead of having a group session for children, the speech language pathologist is going to be able to have one-on-one sessions. So what we have done is, by improving efficiency, we are allowing for a higher level of training or help or assistance available for our kids. So the job doesn't go away. In fact, this is all about supporting the human expert. But that should give you an idea of how artificial intelligence is not always about taking away jobs. Most of the time, it is about efficiency, and we do want humans in the loop for decision making.
Yeah, I kind of liken it to augmenting or extending the professional, especially with a speech language pathologist. I have to think, Venu, it's better to work one-on-one with a child because you give them more attention. Are there certain speech language disabilities that this may be better suited for? For example, a lisp, or I have a relative who stuttered as a young child. Are there certain pathologies or disabilities that this may work better for over others?
No, absolutely. I mean, if you just think about it, in a classroom, there are kids coming from different backgrounds, right? I mean, some might be native English speakers, some probably speak Spanish at home and English in the classroom, and so on. And so, how do you nuance the assistance that you're providing based on the culture, right? For example, we look at something like pointing to pictures, when they are repeating words. For certain kids, certain pictures might be natural, depending on where they have come from, and so on. So there is so much of personalization that can be brought in, which is completely being lost because you have one shoe fits all right now. In fact, one of the biggest motivations for our NSF project was that right now, today, with almost 4 million children who need some kind of assistance, there are only about 60,000 speech language pathologists available out there. So if you do the simple math, you can see that there is no way we can cover all the kids, and give them the proper attention they deserve. So this is, our technology is striking at the very heart of that personalized attention for every child. Also, you mentioned stuttering. Different children have, when they say speech difficulties, they might be having difficulties with different sounds. Not every kid has difficulty with the same sound, right? So, and we also look at the entire spectrum of autism. So there are kids with different needs, and the best thing that we can do is, make the pathologist more efficient, so that the grunt work is taken away and more one-on-one human attention can be given in a customized fashion. So this is a win-win everywhere, with this particular AI technology.
And Jinjun, how do you so there are roughly 60,000 or so speech language pathologists in the United States. How do you roll this out? Is it something that someone has to subscribe to? Do you go, for example, to the associations of speech language pathologists? How do you make sure that this gets in the hands, or I guess the keyboards, of the speech language pathologist?
Yes, I think, Jeff, that's quite a good question, right? So you kind of course, it's we like the technology to be finally deployed, right, at every hands of SLPs for the speech language pathologists. But right now we are still in the very early phase, and even though people heard of the AI is developed so much, in fact, you're starting to take the technology, right, to develop the solutions, and especially the user-inspired research, you'll realize there's a huge gap between what the technology can be done and versus what really we want them to be able to do. And so that's when we are still in the very early phase. And of course, we are funded by the taxpayers' money, right, through the National Science Foundation. And if we are develop any technology, we will open source our technology. So anyone, any entrepreneurship can take this technology, right, and build a business. It's up to them to decide, how this technology should be put into the hands, for the final deployment. But right now, we are taking the human-centered AI design approach, which means we are engaging the stakeholders like SLPs, parents, right, and the children to understand their needs, right? And we develop technologies, develop our solutions. We run the pilot with them. So right now, some of our technologies are already being developed and started working with the parents to see how our technology can be helpful. But in terms of commercialization, that's a long story. So we are not there yet.
Yeah, it's a long story, but I can envision a time where there are no longer 4 million children and that have an issue, and they can get it resolved sooner rather than later, because it probably for them creates a little bit of stigma, or they feel for whatever reason that they're not whole. So congratulations to both of you gentlemen. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Really enjoyed this session.
And don't forget to subscribe to our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse, for all the news in one place. And don't forget, your subscription supports all of this great content. And we're back again tomorrow for another edition of BRN. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.